everyone, welcome to Crafting Down the Rabbit Hole. And what we're doing today is we're playing with clay. So first you're going to need some different ink colors. You could use alcohol ink or whatever you would like to use to color your clay. I'm using 3 different pinks, and that last one that I just showed you has mica powder in it, so I had to shake it up a bit because that is alcohol ink with mica powder. This is a lovely little silk screen from D.I.Y Creations. It also came with this awesome holographic glitter. So those are going to be 2 of the things that I'm using. Right now, I'm searching for a few other items that I want to use at the moment. And oh yeah, I'm going to show you D.I.Y's card that came with her products. This is from D.I.Y Creations. As you can see, I really love her silk screens and stuff because they're very finely made. They're able to pass fine glitter through them. Mica powders. They're very easy to clean. No issues, no problem. So I'm ready. Let's go. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure there's nothing on my clay that could get in the way and obstruct that I'll have to pull out later. So I'm going to just start adding the ink. I am a hands-on person. I like to use my hands to add my colors and, just to put them on. And I like doing it this way because it gives me this nice, even kind of watercolor effect. I love the watercolor effect when I'm working with my clay. So here I'm just pretty much adding the alcohol ink to the clay, and I'm just moving it around with my finger. It's not really that hard to do. I mean, if you don't like to really get your hands dirty, I would suggest that you put on a glove, but I don't mind. I like being hands-on, getting my hands into my work, and, just being able to put it the way I want it to be. So that's what I'm doing here, adding the ink with my fingers. This is a plum color. I find that these colors go very well together, and even when they mix, it doesn't overpower each other. They have the tendency to blend very well together, and like even when they bleed together, you can move them and you will still see every color that you use. It's just all based on how you kind of dilute them after the fact. I normally take like alcohol spray and spray on it, and it pretty much seeps in and it makes them start to blur together, gives a nice even watercolor effect. It helps to remove like fingerprints and to basically clear up the areas of the clay that actually look like you used your finger. So here I'm just pretty much shaking up the Pearl Effects alcohol ink. I really like this because it adds a glittery effect to your artwork. It blends well, so it'll go over your artwork and add glitter to even the colors that didn't have glitter, and mica powder to the colors that didn't have mica powder. So it makes everything a little shiny and pretty and cute. So in that effect, everything is going to be kind of covered. I do want to try to cover most of the white areas and kind of just get everything evenly covered. But as you can see in a few seconds, I'm just going to go ahead and spray with my alcohol ink. Also, another thing that you could do after you spray it with the alcohol ink is to take a blow dryer, put it on cold, and basically dry your work, kind of to speed up the process. Or if you're just have enough time on your hands and you just want to let it air dry as you move on to another project, you could also do that as well. For me, I like to use pretty much whatever I have on hand, and at this time I really don't have my blow dryer on hand, but as you can see, I am adding my alcohol inks, and as you see, everything starts to blur and make kind of, once it blurs and everything gets settled, you'll notice that all of the colors are present that I used, but none overpower the others. Since they're all pretty much in the same spectrum of color, which is like purplish pink, they kind of all really mesh together well. The only way you could really see my alcohol inks with the pearl is for me to move it around, but right now I don't want to move it because of the simple fact that it's still wet, and that'll cause the ink and stuff to kind of smear and smudge and run, and you'll notice like run lines to it. So I don't want to do that. So while I'm waiting on this to dry, I actually try to clean up my area a little bit, just get most of my stuff together and kind of give me some break time. I am going to use my heat gun, but what I want to do is not stay in one place for too long. I mean, if you want like a crack and broken effect, like that gives it a good crackle effect if you do stay in one place for a little bit, but I really don't want a crackle effect in this. So I just made sure I kept it moving very quickly. It's on the lowest setting because, like I said, I don't have my blow dryer at hand at the moment. Look, you can see my foot. Oh, how cute. And so I'm kind of just sitting here now, letting the last little bit of it dry. Here, I'm going to use the butterfly stencil. I have that's actually a beauty blender brush that I use for my art because I really don't wear makeup. That's a very rare thing. I'm drying off the last little puddles that were more saturated than the rest of the piece of clay, just to dry it up a bit. I want to remove my clay from being stuck down on the tile because I actually just wanted it to be loose. So now this is my very first time using this one. So I wanted to show you guys. It sticks on very well. It has like this little sticky side that you just put on and it sticks just fine with no issues. Her screens actually work very well with the different clay, with the different micas. Excuse me. With the different micas. But this was my first time actually using the holographic glitter. And I really don't know how it's going to work with this particular screen. I mean, it is fine glitter, so I assume it should go through like the screen with no issue. But sometimes fine glitter is not fine enough to go through the screen and do what needs to be done. So it kind of has an issue. But what I'm looking at now is whether or not there's going to be an issue. I'm actually trying to get all the glitter into, the silk screen. Make sure it's pretty much well together with no issues. So when I pull up the silk screen, as you can see, it does go through. Shake the last little bit of the glitter back into the thing, move on to the next part. Because it's not paint, I don't have to rush with my silk screen. I can move on and start using the glitter again. Because I really try most of the time not to use paints because I have to rush and wash them off because I don't want my silk screens to be damaged. But one thing I have noticed when I use the other silk screen from Old Joy Creations is that is very easily cleaned. It's never a big issue with cleaning her screens. All you do is get it into some warm soapy water, and you can rub it with both of your hands and everything comes off. Well, mostly everything. I have noticed that it does stain a little bit when it comes to the alcohol inks, but that's no big deal. So I just showed you one of my Ghost Shift mica powders that I have. I'm gonna link these below because I love these because they stick to each other as well. Because if you really are a person that use mica powder, mica has a hard time sticking to itself. But these particular mica powders stick to each other. It gives depth, it gives layers with no problem. So that's a good thing about this. I could just pull it up, move over to the next side. I wanted to kind of change the direction of the butterflies. I could use the mica powder that's pretty much still on the screen to put into the screen, into the holes and into the butterfly area to, add more butterflies. With this mica powder, it really is versatile and you really can just move it off the screen onto your clay with no problem. As you can see, even though I just used a little bit of mica powder that was left on there, you still see the butterflies. It added pretty much the same consistency as before. I am going to add a little bit more mica powder because at this point I pretty much used it. But other than that, as you can see, it transfers just fine. No issues. I love the silk screen. I love the details of her silk screens because she has a lot of them that are very detailed. So that's one of the big things for me. Again, I'm cleaning my area because now I have mica powder and glitters all over the place. I'm going to do another round of glitter and probably another round of mica powder or just the mica powder. But I really, out of the two things that I really hoard the most, it's my mica powders and my silk screens. I really do not have a lot of things that I hoard. Well, craft wise, I hoard all my crafts because that's just me. So this one is a violet mica powder. It's another ghost shift. Like from one direction is white, from another direction is violet. And I'm just gonna pretty much go over that with this flower silk screen from Old Joy Creations. So it's kind of a butterfly flower effect. And I think that comes out really nicely and it makes a very intricate pattern. Okay, now that I have that out the way, I'm going to go ahead and get my cutter, and I'm going to start to cut out my pieces because I want to make a bracelet that's going to be pretty much front and back. So I'm going to take my time, cut out these pieces, give myself some room to work, and I'll be back. Okay guys, I've cut out all my pieces, but this video is running kind of long, so I'm going to continue this next time. Bye.
What you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business.